Does that feel right? Does this feel good? Do we feel good? Do we feel good today? I would like to say that I feel pretty good today. How are you guys doing? Hello. I think you might be slightly crooked. I always think I'm slightly crooked when I'm filming, and then when I go to the edit, after I fix the camera while filming, it's more it's more crooked after I fix it than when I started. So I have to go into the edit, and I always forget, like, I can fix any crookedness in editing. Okay, so today we're gonna do a tea talk / coffee chat. Is there an eyelash in my phone? Today, I thought we'd sit down and chat because we did this a couple weeks ago. We did a throwback tea talk, and that's kind of like a Q&A, but where I only talk about one topic and I can get into it a little bit more because I spent a little bit more time on it. So we're gonna do another one of those today. I reached out on Instagram, and one of the most common questions / topic suggestions was co-parenting. Co-parenting is definitely its own topic. So grab a cup of something. Actually, I have coffee today because I'm in the stage of the holiday season where I need multiple cups of coffee a day. So coffee chat, tea talk, hot cocoa hugs. I don't know what you want to call this, but let's get to it. Also, how cute is this freaking mug? I showed it on Instagram the other day. By the way, I'm on Instagram every day, like all day. So if you like hanging out with me, you can hang out with me there all the time. This I bought at Target, I think last year or the year before. They didn't sell it this year, I don't think. At least I didn't see it at my local Target, but I didn't look that thoroughly at the mug selection because I did not buy. I think this might be a record year. I did not buy a single holiday mug this year. Yay! Good job. That being said, I'm like, next year I'm getting a new mug. No, I don't know. All right, so, I don't need this because it's not a Q&A. There's only one question. Co-parenting. Co-parenting is really a testament to prioritizing your children. Regardless of the details of your split with your partner, and I'm generalizing this. I'm not saying this just for me because I have done lots of research into this, read lots of stories, heard feedback from lots of people, personally and not personally, that I know, who have shared their stories about co-parenting. What it boils down to is this. In order to co-parent successfully, you have to absolutely, for real, prioritize your children. And this is not just saying, of course, the children are the priority. This is putting that into practice, and you can't fake it. You cannot fake prioritizing your children when it comes to co-parenting. It's just blaringly obvious if it's not a priority. And I am so happy and so proud to say that Don and I, despite our issues in our personal relationship that led us to split, have prioritized 100% our children through this whole thing. From day one, I'll give you a little backstory. We split early last fall, and we're divorced now. But it took a long time. Well, actually, apparently it didn't take that long to get divorced because I think the average divorce process from split to divorce is like 2 years in this country, and we did it in like a year-ish, a little bit over a year. So that's pretty fast, actually. And it's not that we didn't have to work through stuff, because we did, but we did, and we came through beautifully. That's another story for another day. The thing is, despite our issues, and there was a lot of turbulence in the beginning of our split and trying to find our ground with that, we have always mutually agreed, and independently and together, that the kids are paramount, that their health and safety, emotional health, physical health, well-being, happiness, comfort, sense of security is the most important thing. And to me, like I said, you can't fake that. You could have the most, what's the word when you're like really not happy with somebody? The most like tense, not friendly. I don't know why my brain is not working, but you know, it's like you could have the most terrible split with somebody, but still, as individuals and as co-parents, prioritize your children. I totally think it's possible. It is doable. It is, to me, the most important thing about splitting from a partner when you have children. Yes, your emotional health and well-being is important, and I am absolutely in the camp of self-care is essential for care of others, and loving yourself well is necessary to love others well. But in this particular instance, the kids, they just have to be first while you're making these transitions. And I think you can balance doing all of those things. I think Don, that's when he's snoring, by the way. I think Don and I, both separately and as, you know, co-parents, did that really, really well, despite rocky terrain. We're all good now. Don and I have been in a really good place for, I would say, the past 6 months. It's been solid. We've been good. We have a really good, friendly relationship. And we're partners for life through our children. We're just obviously not together anymore, and that's better for both of us. And that's why we split. But I'll just kind of walk you through how we transitioned into co-parenting from being together to separate. So first of all, obviously, prioritizing children. So we always, from day one, made very conscious decisions and were very clear with each other and used as much kindness and compassion in our communication about the children and about co-parenting, regardless of other issues we might have been having from the beginning. So we talked through the stages of, you know, Don moved out of the house. He wanted to move out, but we kind of staggered that so it wasn't that jarring to them. And having parenting time at the family home for quite a while, to be honest, before the kids started going to their dad's house. This was all very intentional to kind of ease them into the changes instead of, okay, daddy's gone and you can only see him at this other place now. It was, for us, it worked out that it made sense. Okay, daddy's not here every night, but he's here lots of times and we see him. And then eventually after that felt comfortable, it's okay, let's go to daddy's place for, you know, however much time. And that was gradual too. And then incorporating sleeping over at daddy's new place. This was all done over, I think, about 8-9 months it took us. I mean, we did everything super slow with the kids. And this was something we mutually agreed on. And it worked really well for us and for our kids. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that that's what everybody should do, because I don't know what anybody should do but me. I don't even know what I should do most of the time. I just trial and error my life. And I trust my instincts, especially when it comes to parenting. And fortunately for me and the kids and Don and I actually agree a lot on like gut instinct stuff with the kids. So that's been a blessing for sure. I mean, it's one of the reasons we have children, is because we are compatible parents. And I think that's something people don't talk about a lot. You can be compatible parents, but not be compatible lovers. Do you know what I mean? You can be, like, I think Don and I make really good parents to our children. We offer them a good balance of different ways of seeing life and processing and thinking and feeling and expressing ourselves. But we agree on the really basic fundamental, like, molar what am I trying to say? Moral pillars. Wow, that was hard to say. I need more coffee, clearly. Moral pillars. Try saying that 5 times fast. Moral pillars, no. You're gonna start saying molars, I promise. Anyway, we are good. I think we're really good co-parents in that way. So yeah, it was definitely very gradual easing them in, and that was intentional. That was our main concern, was really easing the kids in. And our kids are very little. You know, they were just 1 and 3 when we split. Now they're 2 and 4, going on 3 and 5 very soon. And I think, you know, of course it's going to be challenging to go from having both parents with you, living in one home all the time, to then having both parents not living together, and then starting to spend time at different parents' houses, and both parents moving. Like, we both moved, but we spread that out too. Also, with quite a bit of intention. It made sense to both of us to move away from that home and start fresh for ourselves. But it also made sense for the kids too, to kind of mark the transition as well. But again, I'm going to say this again and again and again. Take care of yourself. There's no better gift you can give your child than taking really good care of yourself. And it's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's just not. As long as you're not hurting anybody in your self-care. And to me, self-care looks like prioritizing my health and making sure I get exercise, because it gives me endorphins and helps me with my anxiety levels. So I can be a more patient and kind and playful mommy to my kids, you know. It involves making sure that I do the things I love, so that part of my cup is full, so that I am more present with my kids, and I can participate more in doing the things they love with them. And also, I think there's no better gift you give your children than modeling what truly loving yourself looks like. Because our world, and especially our culture, drills it into you from the start that that you are wrong, that you are not worthy as you are. This is marketing, right? That you need to look a certain way, eat a certain way, wear certain things, drive certain cars, have certain houses, take certain vacations, date certain people. The list goes on and on, to be worthy. And it's never enough, but like, spoiler alert, you're never gonna get there in like the cultural lens. So really modeling the power of loving yourself, and there's just no better gift you can give your children, because they will learn that not from you telling them that, but from watching you practice it with yourself. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect at it, because it's a lifelong journey, for me at least, and I think it is for pretty much everybody I know, at least who I've talked to about it. Can you imagine if we lived in a world where people truly loved and honored and respected themselves? Like, truly, not just lip service, like truly. What kind of world we would live in? When you really love, honor, and respect yourself, then you can truly give those things to others. And that's community. We live in a culture where there's such a frightening lack of community, and there's no more apparent time than now how much we are lacking that. And so yeah, anyway, I got a little bit off topic there. The easing the kids in, the being on the same page with co-parenting, and it's not to say we don't disagree sometimes, me and Don, but we communicate about it. And when there were times where it wasn't fruitful for us to communicate in person, which I personally think is the most effective, efficient, and clearest way to communicate something important. Sometimes you really can't talk in person to a person that you're in the process of splitting from. Sometimes you just can't. So find a method of communication where you can be calm as possible, as kind and compassionate as possible, and have a respectful conversation about your kids, and keep it separate from your relationship baggage. That would be my number 1 tip. luckily, like I said, I mean, Don and I are in a place, and we have been for a while now, where we can come together and chat. Like when we needed to plan the holiday schedule, I invited him over for coffee, and we sat down and we hashed it out and we figured it out. Here's what I will say about holiday schedules, because that was a specific question that a couple people had in regards to co-parenting. I recommend having a standard holiday schedule in your parenting agreement. This is a legal document that you make when you are getting divorced, and you outline all this stuff. I don't know if it's mandatory to have it in your legal parenting plan, but if it's not, I highly suggest it. So you have something to fall back on in the event that you cannot agree. And that's how we outlined it in our parenting document. It's like, holiday plans will be as following if the parties cannot mutually agree. And so we have like an alternating schedule with all holidays. So it's every other year this and every other year that, and it works out with our regular parenting schedule so that it's not a huge amount of time with one parent for back-to-back holidays, and then you know what I mean. It has a nice flow to it, and it's actually a schedule that we generally follow. But we're also in a place where if we need to make a slight change here or there, we can just call each other up or text each other and be like, hey, can we switch this day, or this year can you do this holiday, and then maybe I'll do it next year instead, and that's fine. Just to give you an example, we have decided to split winter break. So winter break for our kids is 2 weeks. The kids spend 1 whole week with each of us, and then we alternate every year who gets the first week and who gets the second week. So for example, this year the kids are spending the first week of winter break with me, and then they'll spend the second week with Don. And how we are factoring in Christmas time with that, because it's not fair for the kids to spend, like if Christmas, like for instance this year, Christmas falls at the end of the first week, but it's still within that week. So it's not a nice cut where it's like they go from one house to the other in the middle of Christmas. So we have a contingency plan for those, and most years it's going to be like that, where they alternate every other year, spending Christmas Eve through part way of Christmas morning with one parent, and part way of Christmas morning through the next mid-morning with another parent within that first week. So it doesn't really matter who has parenting time for the first week of winter break in that given year. Both parents will get to spend dedicated time with the kids over Christmas or Christmas Eve. And both of us get at least half of Christmas morning with each kid. Now, that's not to say that one year we can't say, hey, let's combine forces and spend Christmas Eve together as a family, or blah, 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 blah. You know, I mean, we can totally do that. This year with the pandemic situation and the family and the bubbles and everything, we're taking a less is more approach to gathering. So we are splitting them traditionally. So this year, while the kids are with me this week, they'll be with me Christmas Eve through like mid-morning Christmas Day. And then their dad will come get them, and they'll have the rest of Christmas with their dad, and then back to me on the next morning. And then they'll have one more night with me until they're back with their dad for the following week of winter break. So it's a little bit of back and forth, but it's a way to make sure that everybody has Christmas time together. The kids are super excited about it because, and I got questions about this too, Santa comes to every home. Yes, Santa is planning on visiting both of our houses, and you can navigate that, I think, pretty easily, just with simple communication. That's how we're handling the holidays this year, and that's our general plan to co-parenting. Hey guys, Editing Jen here. I just wanted to interject for a minute because I didn't bring up a point that I think is really important. I got kind of sidetracked like majorly in this video, but I think a really crucial part of co-parenting, and one that quite frankly took me a little time to really understand and embrace fully, is that your co-parent is going to parent differently than you. They're not going to do exactly the same things that you do. They're not going to follow exactly the same schedule you do, for the most part. At least that's the situation for me, and I know it is for so many others that I have spoken to or read about. And I think letting go of what's not in your control as soon as you can will help everybody in the long run. So your kids might not eat the things you want them to eat when they're at your co-parent's house. They might not go to bed at the exact same time as you put them to bed. They might have different ways of doing things, and that's okay. And there's things that are just really not up to you to decide. And it's hard, I think, especially in the beginning, to go from pretty much being, at least in my case, like I made pretty much all of those kind of little scheduling and eating and all that kind of stuff. I made all those decisions, and that was just part of our parenting, our co-parenting as partners, who live together. And then, and now, Don does different things than I do some of the time, and I need to respect that. He's going to have different ways of doing things, and that's his prerogative as a parent. So I think that's really, really a critical piece in having a good flow, is for both co-parents to respect the other's way of parenting, and to not try to micromanage or step over boundaries. That really, ultimately, it's about the kids' well-being, So just wanted to put that in there. I mean, you guys, I feel kind of weird giving, I don't know if this is advice. I wouldn't even call it advice. It's just my experience. I don't feel qualified to give advice on this. I'm only, a year and change into this co-parenting thing. But I will say that we've fallen into a really nice groove with it. And even when things were challenging, with the split in the beginning, it's been pretty easy with the kids, just because Don and I prioritize them absolutely, and we've been able to separate our own personal stuff from our co-parenting. I mean, if you are in the process of a split, or if you are a co-parent, or if you're considering splitting and you have children, I know that for me, at least, the kids was a huge factor. I mean, they were just a huge factor in the whole decision around the split and the divorce and everything. But at the end of the day, loving them and in a way that they feel unconditionally loved by you, and that includes prioritizing them, that's all you can do as parents anyway. We're going to make mistakes as parents. We make mistakes all the time. Nobody's a perfect parent. And that's a good thing, because actually I believe that really good parenting involves making some mistakes, learning from them, showing your kids some humility, apologizing, talking things over, age appropriate, of course, but they have to see that we're humans and we make mistakes too. But that we love them and we love ourselves. And they have permission to love themselves if we love ourselves. If you're in that process of making a decision, and a big factor of your uncertainty is around your kids, if loving yourself well and the best possible way involves not being in a romantic partnership with your co-parent, with your parenting partner anymore, I would say that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. I'm just gonna leave it there, because when you are loving yourself well and you are filling your cup and you are happy and have joy even through difficult things, those are gifts that you cannot give to your children if you just grin and bear it, or grit and bear it, in the name of family. Anyway, I hope this was interesting / helpful to some of you in some way. Thank you for joining me today. It was fun. And it's fun to talk about. I mean, it's kind of like a stressful topic, but honestly, I just feel like it's important, and I don't hear enough conversations about it. Oh, adversarial. That's the word. When you have an adversarial split. Knew it would come to me. All right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today. I enjoyed hanging out with you and having a chat. Of course, take very good care. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye. And my coffee's cold.